Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Demon Guy 1216, aka Anthony Kalani. I'm here with my boy Brian Diaz, also part of Team Limitless. He's here to tell us about his deck, because he likes to run 6 Sams and warrior type based decks. So he's running ninjas and 6 Sams right now. He's going to explain to us the weaknesses on 6 Sams for you new duelists that don't know really how to play against them. And we'll teach some of you like old duelists that want to run 6 Sams on how to actually run them properly. So here's Brian.
What's up, guys? So yeah, basically I've been playing 6 Sams for a while, so this can go either way. To those who play 6 Sams, you can listen a little bit and prepare for the weaknesses, and those who play against 6 Sams, just listen to the advice. I'm just going to talk about a little bit about the main points of the deck. As you know, when the legendary 6 Samurais came out, Xian came out, and he's pretty much the center focus of the deck. Now, Xian got limited, so you have to play a little bit more careful now when you summon the Xian. So some of the things we, as Samurai players, don't want to fall to is that when we synchro into Xian, we definitely do not want to fall into one of the Solemn Brigade cards, because then we can't bring back the Xian. The only way to get it back is by using Gateway's effect to put it back into the extra deck, or using Grandmaster's effect to put it back into the extra deck. But that's a little tough to pull out. So you definitely, if you get a chance, you definitely want to set the warnings and the Solemns early and try to hit the Xian. Now, another thing is, a great side is the Puppet Plants. Is a very common side. People don't really see it that much because heroes aren't that popular, but you're still going to go against Sams and you're still going to go against heroes, so maybe 1 or 2 Puppet Plants if you have the room is not bad. Now, a very powerful card to side against 6 Sams is Chain Disappearance. That card is so powerful because when they summon that Kagemusha, which is our main tuner, if you Chain Disappearance that card, you pretty much got rid of Xian. They cannot go into Xian unless they somehow overlay it for Levier and get the Kagemusha back. So it's a great side against it. Other cards, Effect Veiler is great against the Kageki when they try to go into the Xian, and then you just leave a Kageki with 200 attack. That's easy to hit. MST is great against this deck because they try to go off with the dojos and the gateway for counters. I don't know, just pretty much if you're running a deck that has monsters with high attack, it's also pretty good.
Brian, real quick, because I know I've seen your deck before. You seem to have a low monster count. Does that bother you? Like that low monster count?
I mean, the deck's pretty fast, so I run about personally between 14 to 15 monsters, not counting like Effect Veilers and Maxis, so between 14 to 15. So it is a low count, but I mean, there are the 2 smoke signals. You have the Rhoda, and usually if you have 1 Samurai monster, you can usually get the other one with either the asceticism, the dojos, or the gateway. So pretty much a lot of the spell cards are actually monsters themselves, the way I see it. But yeah, sometimes there's this inconsistency. If you can somehow go into a Notoria Beast when you're playing against 6 Samurais, it's great. Most 6 Samurai players run heavy spells. So if you're a Karakuri player or some type of Earth player, going into Beast is a great move against them. Max C, it's expensive. If you have it, it's great. Usually Samurais, when they try to go off, will special summon more than 3 times in that turn. So you can hopefully draw into the cards you need to either stop the OTK or during your turn to clear the field.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Alright, well, obviously, you're a big Samurai player now. Just with respect to this format now, we have a lot of monster effects going on, especially with the Insectors. They summon a Dragonfly, they get Hornet, they pop cards. The wind-ups go for that hand loop, but even if they're going up against Samurai and they have a Xian, I'm sure they can overlay into a 5-star, Exceeds, get Adrius on the field, pop your Xian. The Dino Rabbits, they have control just like you know what I'm saying? But I guess the point is, since this format is heavily based on monster effects, and maybe even just monster effects that pop the world and can take care of monsters like Xian, control monsters, how is your gameplay with respect to that? Like, how would you, like, is it worth playing Samurai as this format?
Well, I still think it's definitely worth it. Like the ban list, it gave us a smoke signal. It's nothing too crazy, but it does add a little bit more consistency. This format, 2 decks came up. The Insectors and the Wind-Ups are the new 2 top-tier decks alongside the Dino Rabbits. So something I'm doing now is I'm definitely going into Landors more often than I ever did before. Especially against windups and sectors. Landors is usually a weak monster, which is why I usually don't go into it. But as you mentioned, this format is very effect-based. So if I go into a Landors, for example, against a wind-up deck, And since my deck runs so heavy in spells, sometimes it's actually beneficial, and I can just break the wind-up combos. Six Sands are still strong. You just have to be a little more careful. Once you get control, for example, if you go first and you can somehow get the Sheehan, if you run Fiendish Chain is a very recommended card for Six Samurais, because Sheehan can stop a spell or trap return. So the only other two things your opponent can do is attack or activate effects, and Fiendish Chain covers that. So if you have like a Sheehan and a Fiendish Chain, you're pretty much completely protected. So it's a good card to run.
What about the famous Book of Moon with Sheehan? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, a lot of people will tend to do force plays, and two of the cards that force the play is Mind Control and Book of Moon. Usually that's a little annoying because you're forced to negate it. They usually try to book your Sheehan, and you pretty much have to negate it, or they target your Sheehan for Mind Control. You have to negate. And they follow up with a Heavy Storm or a Dark Hole, depending on what they have. There's nothing you can really do much about that. If you run Nagatama, then you can feel a little safe on negating that card, and then whatever follows up you can stop. Right now, my friend has been recommending Magic Drain, because it's not a bad idea if you think about it. If they play Mind Control, you activate Sheehan's effect, you stop it. Usually they're going to follow with a Dark Hole or a Heavy Storm. So if you play like a Magic Drain, which is a great card, there's no cost for you. Your opponent, in order for that to go off, has to discard another card. So they're basically wasting 3 cards to get that Sheehan or to get that backfield out of the way. So Magic Drain is definitely a good idea if you don't want to run the Nagatama. But Nagatama's great. If you have a Samurai on the field, there's no cost, and you negate anything that destroys, from MSTs, Heavy Storms, to Insectors. Doesn't really help against Insectors, but Nagatama's good against Dino Rabbits. It'll get that Laggy or Dolka out the way, so it's a good idea.
So, alright, well, like, alright, we know there's still, like, random decks running around, but, we just focused on the top 3 decks of that Triforce. What about windups? How do you think you would fare against windups? I mean, I know you said Landois is good against them, because they're all low attack points, but, you know, the Adris or Tiris that have high attack points.
For example, alright, so windups usually first turn, they really won't go into the Adris or Tiris. They always, if they have the hand, they'll try to go into the loop. Against windups, you gotta have the regular stuff that most decks have against them, which is the Effect Veilers and the Max Cs. If you can't afford Max Cs, you gotta try to run 3 Veilers and try to get it early against them. But if I win the die roll, I mean, against windups and against most other decks, it's all about the die roll. If I go first and I can defend myself with a Sheehan, a Fiendish Chain, and a Warning in the back, there's really not much they're going to be able to do. So it really depends who goes first. Now, if they go first, you mentioned Tiris. Tiris is a little annoying. Once again, cards like Fiendish Chain can get over it quickly. When they attack, you can I don't know. You just have to time it. Tiris is not really nothing to fear too crazy. It's mostly the hand loop in the first turn. Other than that, their monsters are really weak. If they don't hit the right cards and they leave you with something good, it's easy to come back. Windups are dangerous just because of their consistency with the loop. Tiris, Adris, and Zenmail don't really scare me. So.
Oh, see, you were also talking about like some weaknesses with the the Sams. Would you agree that like a Stone Man-Eater and a Raikou and like even a Man-Eating Bug is a really good?
Definitely. Sheehan's vulnerable to those face down cards. Not so much Raikou. Even though Raikou does hurt, Raikou destroys. So if I have another Samurai, I can give up the other Sam or Nagatama. But if you really are scared of the Sheehan when you play against them, great cards is like Growl. You can attack and just simply get the Sheehan out the way. Another card you can simply just set is DD Warrior Lady. You don't see that card a lot, but if you set that card and Sheehan hits that, Sheehan's gone. And it's during the damage step, so there's really almost nothing you can play against it. So DD Warrior is a great card. Other than that, anything that bounces, Orient Dragon, a lot of people don't run that card anymore. No one really synchros, but Orient Dragon gets Sheehan out the way. But Chain Disappearance is really good. A lot of people don't do it, but against Sands, it's really good. Against Insectors, it's really good. If they ever summon the Hornet or the Dragonfly, you get rid of them. Against Dino Rabbits, I believe Rabbit disappears, so it's not very good against Rabbit.
What do you mean, Rabbit disappears?
If Rabbit calls priority, you don't really hit the first Rabbit.
No, but you could bomb list the guys that come out. But if you're wanting
I'm talking about Chain Disappearance on Rabbit.
No, Chain Disappearance should be able to work on Rabbit because they get the summon. Chain Disappearance would make it remove, even though it's through its own effect, and
that's something we have to look
I'm pretty sure it negates the summon.
Yeah, we'll look into that. So, but Chain Disappearance is a great side against a lot of these top decks. As for those who play Samurais, just pretty much focus on the top decks, decide against them. A lot of the other decks that you might see around, like for example, a macro deck, Gladiator Beast, Light Sworns, Dark Worlds, TGs.
No, not TG.
Samurais are very strong, even though TGs aren't really there. But Samurais are really strong against the other decks. For example, Light Sworns are so heavy on spells. If you go a Beast and you set a Fiendish Chain, you pretty much got game. Against Dark Worlds, Dark Worlds are also very heavy on spell. A lot of the cards that they need to discard. If you go Beast first turn, you set a Fiendish Chain, you pretty much win against those kind of decks. So there's nothing really to fear with those. Gladiator Beasts are just a little too slow this format, so it's very strong. So, those decks are easy. Chainburn, which is becoming popular. To me personally, it's cake. Just synchro into a Beast and Barkion or a Sheehan, and you pretty much break their play. So it's nothing to fear.
How do you get around the Lava Golem?
The Lava Golem is a problem. That card's a problem, but 6 times, if you run Double Edge, you can always come back from the Lava Golem and just poke them with a 3,000 Lava Golem anyway, so... But Lava Golem's something you gotta watch out. But usually they run 1 or 2 tops, or sometimes they even side them in the Chainburn. But Lava Golem's a really good card.
All right. So your personal opinion, because you've been running Sams forever, just this, like for the next 6 months, basically, what right now is gonna be your most threatening deck for you to battle?
I have to admit, I think windups are still the most dangerous. No one wants to start their turn with 2 cards in their hand. So that's definitely one of the biggest. Dino Rabbits, I see Dino Rabbits as a modern version of 6 Samurais. They usually go into the Lakia and set their brigade, which is very similar to what we do. We go into Sheehan and set our chains and our brigade. So it's pretty much who goes first against Dino Rabbits. To me, honestly, they're not that crazy. I think Insectors are definitely a problem because they just keep coming. It's just 1 card and then they pop the field. And like I said, cards like Nagatama doesn't really stop. So I depend a lot on the Fiendish Chain and on the Effect Veilers. And if I have a set field and I can do it, I will go into Landois just to break their plays. Landois is very good. He stops cards like Trigodia, and he stops cards like Gores. Not necessarily Trigodia when he comes out because his effect is continuous, but if he tries to do anything else, it stops it. Gores, it stops the token from coming out, so.
Alright, well, guess that's really all you have.
Yeah, that's
anything
really
else?
it, man. I just think Sams are still competitive. I mean, a lot of people are starting to run them now because of Smoke Signal, but not because of that. I really think they're good. I really think they're a good way to show that synchros aren't dead yet, and that synchros will eventually come back. And yeah, man, just keep playing out there. In June, everybody who plays 6 Samurais, there's going to be a 6 Samurai structure deck. Anybody who wants to play 6 Samurai is going to be coming out. Look forward to that. There's going to be a 6 Samurai XC monster. The effect hasn't been revealed yet, but it's something I'm looking forward to, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other 6 Samurai players are looking forward to. So yeah, that's it, man. 6 Sams, Brian from Team Limitless, out.